allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's see. Gabriel on the right. Could you lead us in the four-way test, please?
What about this? We'll learn it. Four-way test. Is it the truth?
Is it the, everybody together?
Ladies and gentlemen, four-way test.
Okay. Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? With goodwill and better friendships?
And is it
beneficial to all concerned?
So think about this whenever you're dealing with anyone in your business and personal life. Okay, we have a song. We're going to be talking about home today, so here's a song, Back Home Again. Let's go, please. Okay.
Hi folks, we're playing news on first and what's on second. You know, we have a great program coming up for today regarding housing, local housing. And we thought this song, Back Home Again by John Denver, would really be fun to sing all together. Come on, come on.
So let's see, thought for the day and videographer and songster. Okay, yeah, you can do more than one thing, it's okay.
The official glutton for punishment. Well, about 53 years ago, I met my wife Claudia for the first time. And we had some mutual friends. There was a drinking and music and dancing party at one of their houses. And she asked me to dance. And that's all it took. If you've heard of love at first sight, I'm an example of love at first sight. And we celebrate our 50th 1 month from now. I'm so proud of that. Our love is something I wish for everyone. This is a Dusty Springfield song, I Only Want to Be With You. This is how the night went that night. I don't know what it is that makes me love you so. I only know I never want to let you go. You started something, can't you see? That ever since we met you had a hold on me. That happens to be true. I only want to be where you go. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do. I want to spend each moment of the day with you. Oh, look what has happened with just one kiss. I never knew what I could be in love like this. It's crazy, but it's true. I only want to be with you. No matter what you do, I only want to be with you. The other reason I bring this up is she met the four-way test.
Well, thank you, Tim. Okay, so another meeting, another hat. On this is my usual day-to-day hat, and I had to clarify for some members of the club that if you see me wearing this hat in town, it doesn't mean I won't wear it to a meeting, but each meeting will have a different hat, not when I'm around town. I don't have enough hats for 365 days. There's a pin on this that I got from Pat and Abandonment last year. If you look on the Rotary International website, they have areas of focus. These are what our global grants are trying to address. They are promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, maternal and child health, literacy and basic education, economic and community development, and support of the environment. I have another one of these if anyone wants one. Thank you very much. We have a bunch of experts working on the meeting today. We have both the Spur reporter and Spur publisher, Linda Stanford. Judy Barnes is doing our photography today. I saw her out there already taking pictures. Paul is on audio visual, and Sheila was our greeter. Did everyone get greeted by Sheila? Sergeants at Arms are David. There he is, haphazardly raising his hand, and Debbie. So they do a good job welcoming people in as well. Public outreach is a huge thing. Rotary International wants to let the world know that we do great stuff. And we do great stuff, we just need a little work on letting people know that. So we have a website, and Kathy Coyle is in charge of that. Public outreach is Kelly Bowers, still a little under the weather. She could use some help. And then videographer, as mentioned before, Tim Berry. Okay, visiting Rotarians and guests. Do we have any visiting Rotarians here? I see at least one. Remember how this is done, right?
President Joel, for the Rotarians, my pleasure and honor to introduce Chris Hoff. Chris is a former educator, K-12, also assistant superintendent of the Dublin Unified School District, and most recently, he is the current president of the Rotary Club in Dublin.
All right. So finish your introduction of Rotarians with "Let's welcome Chris," and then everyone has that name fresh in their mind. All right, visitors. We have some visitors today. We'll start with Mike Thompson's visitor.
President Joel, members, it's my pleasure to introduce a young man that I met wandering around Livermore a few weeks ago, Daniel Tet. He's formerly from Romania. He's in runs a charitable tech company, knows Roland, so he can't be all bad. And what else was I going to say? His in-laws are in San Jose Rotary. So please welcome Daniel and Ted. And going one!
That almost sounded like a brag, Mike.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce an unusual guest, actually a club member, but it's sort of a homecoming for Henry Shea.
So good to see you again.
And I've known Hank for, what do you think, 25 years or something like that. We both worked with the lab. He worked as a physicist and I worked as a lonely engineer. But we occasionally, cross paths. Maybe you'd like to introduce your guest.
And may I introduce a guest, my wife,
Chief cook and boss wife.
Ernestina.
All right. I got your chair.
JR already has a mic, so
I have a mic. Mr. President, members and guests, I'd like to introduce Kyle and Joey. They're from the Linden Senior Services. If you've been down Home Street and you saw the memory care facility that's being built, that's these guys. They're looking for ways to get involved with the community. So I told them this would be a good place to start, and I recommended some names for them.
Target audience.
okay. Now it's brag time. I know we have at least one brag today.
I'm bragging.
Oh, please, buddy.
Well, Dave and I are kind of bragging together, but since I talked, oh my God, okay, since I talked a little bit more than Dave, I should probably let him talk, but I'm going to get the details a little wrong, so we can do that. Okay, on 4th of July, our grandsons, 15 and 17, flew out from Texas to run for the second time the San Ramon 5K. I think it's over 300, 400 people ran it. Our 15-year-old finished third overall, out of 400, and first in his age group. And our 17-year-old was 7th overall and 5th in his age group. So we were just going to write about that, and I'm not sure, where do you want my money?
A minimum of $20 that can be to the club or the local foundation.
Okay, I'll do 20 for each kid to the foundation.
Do we have any more brags? Okay. We're a mono bragger today. All right. Moving on. Some announcements for you all. Mark.
Oh my gosh! We are so excited. You have been hearing about the Allen Free Community Room that we have been working on for the past several years. And we are to the point where all the trained professionals have done everything they have to do to that room. It has been signed off by the city of Livermore and turned it over to the volunteers. Now, JR has just completed working with a trained professional doing all of the taping and finishing, so the inside of that room looks fantastic right now. So our very first work program is going to be a really easy one, because we're going to break you guys in very quickly. We're going to do some measuring, and we're going to do a little take stock of what we've got on site there. We're going to add a wainscoting to the walls out of material that's already in the room. And then we're going to paint the inside of the room, but not all on Saturday. So Saturday we're going to do some measuring, some taking inventory of what we've got on site, and plan for our next steps. About 2 hours of work. And so if you are interested in showing up at 9 o'clock at the train station, park in the parking garage and walk the 112 feet across to there. It's very easy. Wear closed-toed shoes, wear gloves. If you have the only equipment we might need is a tape measure or two, bring that. So if you're interested in doing that, I'd love for you to send me a text or an email or stop by at this very meeting and just let me know, yes, I'll show up. We're looking for half a dozen people would be perfect, a little more would be fine, a little less would be okay. About half a dozen folks, it's going to be a very easy day. First to several. If this Saturday does not work for you, we're going to have about 8 or so of these days between now and when we're done. So you won't have missed out completely. So with that in mind, anybody want to put their hand in the air, say maybe they might come? All right, got a couple, 3, 4, 5 people already. Perfect. Everybody know where the train station is, right? It's by the train tracks. Okay, oddly enough. Look it up on your Google Maps, park in the parking garage, walk on across, and be ready to rock. We should be wrapped up really early, certainly before lunchtime on that. So, closed-toed shoes, gloves, don't be liquored up if you come up. Otherwise, thank you.
Okay, hand the mic to Mike Thompson. I believe he's next. Mike's Mike.
That's right. Our new satellite club is having a golf fundraiser for Tri-Valley Haven, Shepherd's Gate, and Open Heart Kitchen on July 30th. That's a Thursday afternoon, 2 o'clock. It's a 2-person scramble. You have 3 clubs only, but you can buy a lot of extras, such as a mulligan, an extra club, a shortened tee on number 9. It's held at the Poppy Ridge 9-hole course. We have a lot of fun, and we still need a few more players. So give me a call, and I will get you set up. You don't have to be a good golfer. This is fun.
What time of day?
It's a shotgun at 2. We'll meet at about 12:15 to check in, and there's a putting contest and a few other things. And we're going to play about the first 10 groups are going to get prizes. So,
Okay.
A lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, one of your requirements to get your blue badge, if you haven't already gotten it, or one that you've already completed if you have your blue badge, is that you are on a committee. And we need to populate those committees. If you don't remember which committee you're on, you'll have an opportunity to learn a little bit about them right now. There are a number of committees. I'm going to go through them all. We have the Finance Committee. Alan is in charge. Our club treasurer is always the head of that one. And, if you're good at numbers and budgeting and bookkeeping, that's what they do. Some pretty interesting meetings there. Food Committee. These sandwiches don't just disappear out from thin air. Someone has to get them. Right now it's Alan. If we have a food committee set up, it might be someone else picking them up. We also need to get chips, cookies, tablewares, cups, things like that. You can also set up specialty lunches like a pizza day, potlucks, and so forth. So if you're interested in eating, this is a good committee for you. Stu is in charge of this one. Of course, Stu gets to be in charge of a lot of things as president-elect. Let's see. Because Stu is also in charge of our speaker schedule. And that's always a dynamic thing because some speakers cancel and then want a different date. And it's interesting. So you have to be thinking on your feet. If you know of any people you would like to hear from in town, someone who could give us a little 20, 25-minute talk, let that person know, and then let Stu and me know as well. Major events, things like the crab feed, any sort of large fundraiser like what Mike was talking about with golf. Typically you need a committee to set those things up. Crab feed has a very large, and I won't say standing committee, some of the people change every year, but that's a fun one to be on. Club grants, Roland Ellingson, Linda Stanford are in charge of that. We give out 3 rounds of club grants every year. And they need help looking through the grant applications to make sure they meet the criteria and all of that sort of stuff. Community service, the chair for community service this year is Trex, Wave Trex, okay. So these are the things we do around town that benefit mostly children, but the Maryland Avenue Back to School Night coming up in August, Build-A-Bed, City Service Days, other things like that. Community service chair, you're basically helping us find events and staff up for them. Demotion party, those are the past presidents. So if you're a past president, you're on a committee. You don't need to think too hard about it. Membership, Linda is also going to be doing membership this year. She'll tell you a little bit more about it in a minute. Public relations, again, mentioning public relations. Kelly Bowers is it right now. She needs a little help. We've had a couple of people I've sort of volunteered to help her. But if you can post to Facebook, you can be on this committee. If you can submit an article to the Independent, you can be on this committee. We just need some support to get our name and pictures out there so people know what we do in town. Youth services, we do a lot of youth services. I think the most important one is the READY program. We have Youth in Government Day, we have Music Scholarship, anything that deals with youth, or Interact Club, anything like that. If you want to work with some of the youth in town, you should be looking for the Youth Services Chair, who right now is Michelle. So ask her about what support she needs. The Rotary Foundation, Paul McCandless has taken this over, and he sets goals and tries to come up with ways to get people to donate. So talk to Paul if you'd like to help him out with that. International service, we do international projects as well, and David Scheffler is in charge of that. So basically they find good projects to support, things like the Nepal and all the stuff that we've done over the past year. So talk to Paul if you want to learn about international service. Club services, that's going to be Margaret Palmer this year. And they're the people who try to make sure that we have all the people staffing the positions. So thought for the day, greeter, things like that. Some of these are pretty easy. You might be assigned to be the thought for the day person. And always find someone to get a thought for the day for the next meeting. Vocational services, a big part of that is supporting veterans out of Las Positas College. But if there's a career day at a high school, they may ask for some of us retired professionals to talk about the types of work we do. So those are all of the different committees. There are some that are subcommittees of other committees. So you might say, well, I'm in the craft meet. Is that the same as major events? Yeah, it's the same as major events. I'm going to leave this over with the Sergeant at Arms. There's a chart up there just by the door as you come in with all these committees listed on it. Some people have already told me which committees they're on. We did it with these letter designators over on the left here. So sign up for a committee. When you're on a committee, you're going to be on the mailing list for the committee chairperson to be able to contact you if help is needed. Thank you for that. And now I'll turn it over to Linda. Come on up. Or do you want a microphone?
Okay, so as the new membership chair, I'm looking for some members who can work on the committee, doing such things as helping red badge members transition into blue badge members and helping them along the way, keeping track of what's been completed. And also will be support in training opportunities for our new members, because we really want to get everyone included in the club and learn about it, as well as collaboration with the Satellite Club. I'm really looking for, that link together. So, maybe for people who might be interested in working on this, just give me a call, text me, and I'm learning along the way. So this will be a new way to get started.
Thank you, Lynn. Okay, next week's program is going to be Esther Briggs, Briggs Consulting, talking about the building resiliency, and that's going to be here in this room. It'll be a noontime meeting. Okay, this week's program. Okay.
Joel, I just have a quick question.
Oh, yeah.
It's on. Real quick question. That list that you were showing us, Do you have like an updated one that has the leaders?
Well, yes, I do. I can send that out to the club.
You know what, that would be great, and then, that would be great. And then the other thing was, on behalf of Pat McMinnon, he is now the new Sunshine person. He's not here today, but what I would like to mention, he's a little under, oh, okay, I'm sorry. What I wanted to mention was, as you all know, it's very helpful if you know of someone that's maybe not feeling well or something that's going on. You guys are in touch with a lot of your Rotarians. Please keep Pat abreast so he can be prompt in getting cards out or phone calls, what have you. It's very helpful when you're doing Sunshine, so thank you. I can pay a fine for that if you need me to.
Sure, give the sergeants $10.
Okay, sounds good.
You too can make an announcement as long as you're willing to pay for it if you don't get it to the audiovisual guy a couple of days ahead. Now, our esteemed Kathy Young will introduce our speaker.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. I've known Christine Dillman probably 25 years. And when TVNPA was starting, she was working, I believe, as the Director of Sexual Assault Services for Tri-Valley at that time. And she was one of the first people I reached out to. She's a current board member of TVNPA, Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance, and she was at the very first meeting of Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance. She's also a member of the Morning Rotary Group, so she is a huge asset to our community, and she's currently the Executive Director of Tri-Valley Haven. So please help me welcome Christine.
Thank you, Kathy. Kathy is an amazing leader. We're very lucky to have her, and I have to say, as a board member of Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance, it is one of the organizations that has really helped me grow and helped Tri-Valley Haven grow and helped many of the nonprofits that I work with grow. So TVNPA is incredibly important. So I'm really honored to be here today and talk to you about Tri-Valley Haven. I have been the executive director for about the past 4 years, but I have been with Tri-Valley Haven for 25 years, and I love the organization. I love the people that we work with. So Tri-Valley Haven, we provide domestic violence and sexual assault services. We also provide services to people who are impacted by being unhoused and those people who are impacted by poverty and hunger. Next slide, please. Thank you. So Tri-Valley Haven's mission is really about creating safe homes. So Tri-Valley Haven creates homes safe from abuse, contributes to a more peaceful society, one person, one family, one community at a time. Together we build a world without violence. And that together is so critical. We do not do this alone. Tri-Valley Haven has 47 employees, but we have hundreds of volunteers. Today I'm going to really focus on our confidential domestic violence shelter, but I did want to tell you briefly about some of the other services that Tri-Valley Haven provides. So as I mentioned, we have a confidential domestic violence shelter, and I'm going to really focus my talk on that today. We also have a 24-hour domestic violence and sexual assault crisis hotline. So anybody can call Tri-Valley Haven if they are a survivor of domestic violence or sexual assault. If they're unsafe, they can call at 2 in the afternoon, they can call at 2 in the morning, and they will get a trained advocate. They won't get an answering service. They will get somebody who's answering the phone, who is happy to answer the phone and to help them. We also have a transitional house. So some people coming into a shelter need more assistance. So people coming into our transitional home can stay for up to 2 years. We also have a family homeless shelter where we have families that can stay with us for up to 6 months, and then they transition out to permanent housing. That's really the goal there. Tri-Valley Haven also runs a rape crisis center. We run the only rape crisis center in the Tri-Valley, and anyone who is sexually assaulted can have a crisis counselor or a therapist walk with them. If they choose to report, we're there with law enforcement, we're there with when they get a forensic exam, but they don't have to report to get services. They can come to our community building and we can provide therapy, we can provide case management. We also do a lot of prevention education. So Tribal Haven believes in safe homes. We also believe in stopping the cycle of abuse. And in order to do that, it is really important that we talk to elementary school students, middle school students, high school students in an age-appropriate way. So you'll always find our prevention education is done in an age-appropriate and accessible way. And that is why we have such a great relationship with the Livermore Valley Unified School District, the Pleasanton Unified School District, and the Dillman School District. Because we all know teachers are amazing, they're doing way too much, so they're happy to have us come in and really focus our professionals on these topics. Because it's important that our students learn, you know, writing, arithmetic, math, and it's really important that they be safe. We also have a client choice food pantry that I know the Rotarian Foundation has done an amazing job in assisting us, and client choice is great because it's really a dignified model. People come in, they get to choose the food that is right for them. We have a thrift store, great. If you've never been to our thrift store, it's on the corner of Railroad Avenue and L Street, Livermore, and all of our residents get to shop there for free. And then finally, we offer individual counseling and group support free of charge. So that's kind of our services in a nutshell. We also have a restraining order clinic, but we're really like a mini social service agency. I know I just kind of gave you a big long list of all of our services, but each one of those is very critical. So please, if you know you maybe didn't catch one of the services I just listed off, please feel free to go to our website, and I will give that website at the end of this presentation. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. So why is Tribal Haven here? The statistics tell us, the Center for Disease Control tells us that 1 in 3 women in the United States will be a victim of domestic violence in her lifetime. And that is a shocking number. It still shocks me. In Alameda County, law enforcement on average receives 4 calls per every 1,000 adults every year. Tribal Haven, our confidential domestic violence and sexual assault hotline, we get over 3,500 calls every year to that hotline. And in the recent point in time count, which counts the number of homeless individuals in the Tri-Valley, revealed 460 homeless individuals in the Tri-Valley. The number 1 reason that women are homeless is domestic violence. So when we address homelessness, we must address domestic violence. Next slide, please. So Tribal Haven for over 40 years has had a confidential domestic violence shelter. We're the only confidential domestic violence shelter in the Tri-Valley. We're also the only domestic violence shelter that accepts teenage boys as part of families. And you might say, well, why wouldn't a shelter accept teenage boys? There are some shelters that don't. I think there's a fear of property destruction or that they'll be unsafe. Tribal Haven has not found any difference in terms of property destruction between teenage boys and teenage girls, and we really don't want a woman fleeing for her life to have to either not go or come to Tribal Haven and have to leave her 12-year-old with the perpetrator. So that's not a decision we ever want somebody to have to make. So we have always accepted teenage boys and teenage girls. We accept children, newborns. We have 2 newborns right now, up to age, 18 until they become adults, and then they can come in as an adult once they reach 18. It is a safe and confidential location. I really have to give a shout out to the City of Livermore because we are rebuilding our shelter, and I'm going to talk about that. And they have been so wonderful in helping us keep that location confidential. We are kind of hiding in plain sight, and it's really important. Sometimes people say, well, why are you confidential? We have absolutely had perpetrators try to find victims at our shelter. We've had perpetrators pretend to be law enforcement, pretend to be a district attorney. So it is really critical that we hold that safety and that confidentiality as a #1 tenet of what we do. And everyone who comes into our confidential domestic violence shelter receives wraparound services. So they are offered a therapist, they're offered a case manager, they're offered life skill education. We really want to get to the root of what is going on for that household and then help them to become self-sufficient. You know, what is their dream of a safe home and how can we help them get there? So we're doing this amazing confidential domestic violence shelter for over 40 years, and we decided we were going to put solar on our roof. And we had the solar company come out, and they said, yeah, you're not going to put anything on that roof, and your building is falling apart. Which we, you know, kind of knew, but we just kept kind of patching it and patching it and patching it. So we had the city come out, we had architects come out, and they said the most economic way to meet the needs of the community was to rebuild. The other thing that was happening was we were always full. We're always full. You know, we might not be full while we're getting the room ready for the next family to come in, but we knew we needed a larger facility. So we decided that we were going to rebuild. Next slide, please. So what was that new shelter going to look like? So in 2022, we announced to the community that we were doing a shelter rebuild capital campaign. And I have to say, you have stepped up. This campaign is such a community effort. It is the cities, it is the county, it is the Rotaries. We've had so many Rotaries, especially this Rotary step up. The Vermont Rotaries have been amazing. We've had foundations, we've had corporations, we've had individual donors. We've had Girl Scouts give their birthday money to the shelter. So it has been amazing. And we're almost there, we're almost there. The newly rebuilt shelter will have a 45-bed capacity, so we have 50% more beds, and it will be able to assist survivors and their children for decades to come. We're very, very excited. We are expecting, construction is on track, and I know that that is a rarity, so everything is going well so far. And we are due to have construction complete by the end of December 2026. So we anticipate that we'll move everyone in probably in February, maybe March. So once it's complete, then we'll bring in furniture and appliances and things like that, get the security system done, and we will continue to have those wraparound trauma-informed services. Now, while we have been rebuilding, we have continued to shelter 30 survivors and their children at 2 confidential temporary sites off-site from the confidential location. Next slide. So this is the floor plan, kind of show you what you're looking at. Building A is the shelter itself. Building B are 2 apartmenette units. So these are completely functioning apartments where larger families can come in. The other great thing about Building B, these 2 apartmenettes, is if somebody has a well-behaved animal, like a well-behaved dog, they can come into one of these units and they won't be disturbing the other families from Building A. So unfortunately with domestic violence, it is not uncommon for the perpetrator to use the family beloved animal as a tactic to say that they will harm the animal. And people don't want to leave a member of their family when they come into a shelter, but so many shelters are unable to take in animals. So we are so excited that we're going to be able to do this. Of course, we're going to be working with Valley and Maine, people that know a lot more about animals than Tribal Haven does, but we will be able to take in well-behaved animals to these 2 apartment units. And then building C, that is where our staff will be. We have 24-hour staff, and we also have a conference room. We have rooms for counseling and case management. We have a computer lab. We're getting all of the computers donated. I'm so excited. So we'll be able to have computer classes. We'll be able to do our resume writing and our mock, interviews, and it's really, really exciting. Next slide, please. So the Rotary, again, I cannot thank you enough. Last fall, when the SNAP benefits were paused and we didn't know if we were going to be able to feed all of the individuals who needed food, Tribal Nonprofit Alliance and Kathy went to a group of amazing people in this community and started a huge food drive. The Rotary got together and was able to give Tribal Haven nearly $35,000. And that funding, we did run out of funding for our food pantry. Well, we ran out of grant funding for our food pantry. We did not run out of funding because of you all. So you've been amazing. You are also going to be assisting with our confidential domestic violence shelter. So the Rotary is going to help with our security system. And that is just so essential because when people come into Tribal Haven's domestic violence shelter, they have to feel safe. If they don't feel safe, nothing else is going to happen. If they don't feel safe, they cannot bond with their children. If they don't feel safe, they cannot work on, getting a job. If they don't feel safe, they cannot start budgeting. It is the core tenet that they have to be able to come in, to take a deep breath, and to begin to heal. So this security system is going to help us have controlled access gates. We're going to be able to have electric key card access. We're going to be able to have surveillance cameras, intrusion detection sensors, lighting, and the staff are going to be well trained on that security system. Now, all of that security is going to be on the perimeter. So we are not going to, when we first met with the security team, they were great. But they had all of these cameras inside the shelter, and I was like, no. We don't want people to feel like they're being watched when this is their home. But we do want to know if somebody is trying to get in their home. So this security system is really around the perimeter of the domestic violence shelter. And it will enhance safety, it will enhance confidentiality, it will really help us to make sure that there is no unauthorized access, and it will improve our ability to do emergency response and really create that trauma-informed environment that underpins all of Tribal Haven's programs. So I just really want to reiterate that we could not do this without our community and without our Rotaries. So thank you so much. And then the final slide, I just wanted to make sure that you have my email, which is Christine@tribalhaven.org, and also our website, which is tribalhaven.org. We are also on social media. And then our 24-hour crisis hotline. That is a great number to know in case you run into somebody who may need to call and talk to someone. So thank you for this opportunity, and I would love to answer any questions.
Good presentation, Christine.
Thank you.
I should probably know this, but what is the difference between Tribal Haven and what Shepherd's Gate is?
Great question. So Shepherd's Gate is an amazing organization and really appreciate the services they provide. Tribal Haven is confidential. So our domestic violence shelter, there's no sign. You wouldn't be able to come to it. We would have to bring you there. We do, of course, have a public community building where anybody can come, but our confidential shelter is confidential. We also have a 24-hour crisis hotline, so Tribal Haven is available 24/7, where Shepherd's Gate is not. Great question. We're also non-denominational, so we really support people, you know, if they want to go to church, if they want to go to temple, if they want to go to, you know, the Rotary to get their support, but we are non-denominational.
I have a question over here. Did I hear you say you help with budgeting and things like that?
Me too.
So do these residents have money coming in, and how do you help them with that?
So they do. We really work on improving their income. So sometimes people come in, they don't have any income. Sometimes they do have income. We do not take any of their income ever. So we really work with them on budgeting. So when they leave us, they can go somewhere to be 100% self-sufficient. If they're not ready to do that, they can go into one of our housing programs or something like our transitional home.
So you noted that you serve the entire Tri-Valley.
Yes.
And in fact, we have, of course, as you noted, multiple shelters in Livermore.
Yes.
What proportion of the folks that you serve come from Livermore? And do all of your clients come from the Tri-Valley?
Great question. So we are mandated to serve the whole county, although we do prioritize the Tri-Valley. So greater than 50% of our clients come from Livermore, Pleasanton, or Dublin. But in the case, especially in the case of the domestic violence shelter, sometimes it is really important for us to work with other TV shelters, because if somebody is being tracked and being stalked, if they live, you know, 2 blocks from the shelter, sometimes it's just not safe for them to come to our shelter. So we'll work with another shelter, maybe in Fremont, and we do the same for them. But in general, if they are from the Tri-Valley, we really try to get them into our shelter.
I had a quick question. So you're saying that your shelter is the only one in the Tri-Valley?
It's the only confidential domestic violence shelter.
Okay, confidential. And you're saying you're always full. Is there other organizations? It just sounds like there's a need.
There's a huge need.
A need, and that could possibly put one in another city in our Tri-Valley. And why hasn't that happened? Because you guys have been there forever. And I'm just curious why other cities aren't seeing that need, especially, you know, in our Tri-Valley. I mean,
that is a great question. I'm right with you. I am right with you. We're hoping that having 50% more capacity, having 45 beds, will really help that. But I agree. This is not just a Livermore problem by any stretch of the imagination. We bring in families from Pleasanton, we bring in families from Dublin, we bring in families from San Ramon. So absolutely, it is not just a Livermore issue.
thank you.
So we hear a question. Yeah. Oh, sorry. One more question. So you noted that there are 5 total shelters in the Tri-Valley, and they are all located in Livermore. So that's just a point of information. Livermore should be very proud. It goes above and beyond serving the entire Tri-Valley. Has had both at the political level and the community level tremendous support in those areas for decades, and there has been no support in any of the other 4 communities to provide those services locally. So for the people who provide those services, that's amazing. For us as a community, we can be very proud that we take care of our own and others, sort of making the world a little better place. As you move to 45 beds, are you feeling that's going to be more comfortable? Like you might occasionally have an evening where there'd be an open bed just not used, amazingly?
That is the hope. That is absolutely the hope. We don't have a waiting list for our domestic violence shelter for that reason, right? When people call, they need to get in right away. They can't be on a waiting list. So we never have a waiting list. They either, you know, get in. If we can't get them in, we go to plan B. You know, is there another shelter somewhere? Do we have to put them in a hotel? You know, what else can we do? Because they have to be safe. So we're really hoping that the 45 beds will be sufficient. Unfortunately, domestic violence is a huge issue, and we need to address it. We need to do more prevention. But I did also want to say that Livermore is amazing, and the city could not have been more supportive.
Over here. What are the ways, over here, what are the typical ways that victims are referred to public safety officers, the courts, etc.?
Yeah, all of those. That's a great question. So every year we do training for law enforcement officers, every single law enforcement officer in Livermore, Pleasanton, and Dublin, and they keep our cards in their patrol cars. So we get referred from law enforcement, we get referred from the courts, we get referred from other social service agencies. A lot of times survivors will call us themselves. Our hotline is very busy. However, I think we all know that people aren't using the phone as much, right? Like teenagers and young adults don't call, they text. So that's something that we're starting to look at as well. Do we need to have a text line? Because we really want to make sure that we're accessible in a way that makes sense for victims fleeing.
Hi, what are some misconceptions people have about domestic violence?
I'm so glad you asked that. So on average, it takes a survivor of domestic violence 7 times before they leave. And the reason for that is it's so insidious. So a lot of times the perpetrator is somebody that the victim loves. And they think, maybe if I just do this differently. There is a lot of self-blame, but there is a lot of societal blame on victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. Like, why didn't you just leave? And it's really hard to leave. Can you imagine you have 3 little kids, you're coming into a shelter, you don't know what to expect. Your husband has told you that he is sorry and he's never going to do it again. He does it again. So I think the way that society tends to blame victims is something that we're getting better at, but it is still very much part of the ethos and really important. If somebody says that they are being harmed, the #1 question should be, how can I help you? Thank you for asking that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, Tri-Valley Haven is a 501c3 organization, and if someone wanted to make contributions either through a DAF or through credit card or anything, can you tell them where they can do that?
Thank you, Kathy. That's a great question. So on our website, we do take donor-advised funds. We do take stock. You can absolutely send me an email, but you can donate by going to our website. So thank you, and we appreciate any amount. Thank you so much.
So I'm continuing Mark's tradition that he started when we have. Here's your outside voice.
There you go.
Continuing a tradition that Mark started, if we have people from nonprofit organizations, we give them a little check to go towards their work. One more thing I'd like to hear, and that's from Mary Ann. She's been working on a project through the Rotarian Foundation of Livermore for Tri-Valley Haven. Tell us about it a little bit there, Mary Ann.
Yes, well, thank you, Christine, for a great talk today. You really pretty much touched on everything.
Oh, and Marianne has been so wonderful. Please give her the Marianne.
Well, the Rotarian Foundation did commit for a project this year to support the Tri-Valley Haven with their security system, which she's already talked about. And we are going to have an event on October 29th at 3 Steve's Winery to help kind of offset some of the cost. I'll be talking about that more as we get into a little farther in the summer. But it's our privilege to be able to help you. I mean, you serve so many women and so many families and kids. It's just amazing what you all do. So we're so happy that we can support you. And we're going to have such fun at this event too. Moni's doing the morning club, I'm doing the afternoon club. So between the two of us, we're going to put an event together that you're really going to enjoy. So put October 29th on your calendar. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Christine. Okay, once again, next week's meeting, we'll be here. We'll be learning about resiliency. I'll see if I can get more resilient. And that's the end of our meeting. Please bus your tables and fold your tablecloths out. Thank you.